This is Keep Up. I'm your host, Cynthia Dill. It's Friday, February 28th, 2025. I'm in my Cape Elizabeth studio. Not 2025. Yes, 2025. I'm in my Cape Elizabeth studio. Good to be back. Still working through the transition of an audio podcast to YouTube. But here we are. And the subject of tonight's show is just what happened last night at the workshop of the town council. And we're talking about the town center zoning amendments in the town of Cape Elizabeth, Maine, which is where I live, which is where I'm recording this show from. Beautiful town, about 9,000 people on the rocky coast of Maine, sort of a suburb of Portland, affluent, certainly, home of the Portland Headlight, which is the famous lighthouse commissioned by George Washington. It's a beautiful town, and housing is an issue. It's described as a crisis by a lot of people, but in our town, it's not really a crisis, because if you own a house in Cape Elizabeth, or you live in Cape Elizabeth, it's not really a crisis, because the value of your home keeps increasing over time, and it's a wonderful place to live. It's beautiful. It's low crime, good education. We have a great grocery store. The quality of life is very high here. So there was a request by a developer to build an apartment complex on the town green. The developer is Hardy Pond Development Company. The name of the development is Center Court. So Hardy Pond comes on the heels of a very controversial housing project that was defeated called Dunham Court. Hardy Pond comes along and says, listen, I have a new project. It's going to be better. It's better than Dunham Court for a lot of reasons. And Hardy Pond is right. It is better for a lot of reasons. So they have this great project proposed for the center of this beautiful town on the town green. It's a town of 9,000 people. The project is for 33 units of market rate apartments, 200 feet setback from the road, and the height would be up 4 stories up to 49 feet, which is, for our small town is a lot, because the current height restriction is 35 feet. And the current density is 1 unit per 3,000 square feet, and this would be 1 unit per 2,000 square feet if this thing moves forward. So Hardy Pond requests these amendments, and according to our town charter, our basic constitution, the request to amend the zoning amendment has to go to the planning board. They're supposed to give thumbs up or thumbs down, and then it comes back to the town council. Well, the planning board decides that instead of just giving thumbs up and thumbs down, they're going to lob on all this other stuff, add baggage to what Hardy Pond requested in terms of a zoning amendment. So not only, it's not just up to 4 stories, up to 49 feet, apartment buildings 50 feet, and density is 1 unit per 1,500 square feet, and so on and so forth, too. Instead of just enabling this one project that everybody wants, to allow for multiple other projects. So the planning board recommends to the town council that, yes, you should change the zoning ordinance. Not really what Hardy Pond wanted, but more than that, what we think you should do. The town council does that. The town is pissed, and pursuant to the charter, the citizens organize a petition drive to send the question of the passage of this new ordinance amendment out to referendum, because it says if not less than 10% of the citizens who are registered to vote sign a petition, then the new ordinance has to go out for referendum. And immediately on the heels of its passage, a citizen petition was instigated and successfully collected the requisite number of signatures, beyond the number, actually, to get this question out to a vote. So then the town council starts, looking around. Geez, what should we do? There had been a special meeting scheduled to reconsider their action of approving these expanded zoning amendments that the planning board proposed, that were the subject of the protest by the petitioners, who wanted to get it out to referendum. So, the signatures were collected, the question goes out. So then the town council's wondering, well, what should we do? And so the special meeting was called. The special meeting was called to reconsider what they had done. Instead of reconsider what they'd done, they decided, well, we shouldn't do anything because there's been successful petition. So the meeting last night was canceled, sort of, but it wasn't really canceled because in announcing the cancellation of the meeting to reconsider what the town council had done, which was pass the planning board expansive amendments instead of just the narrow amendments which were requested. In announcing that this meeting was canceled, it ended up being a meeting, and then the other councilors weighed in, including like this tirade by Councilor Jonathan Sarbeck, who happened to have been the chair of the planning board that had lobbed on all this, added all this baggage to the Hardy Pond requirement. Hardy Pond Development Company says we need A, B, and C, and under the planning board they said, oh, you need A, B, and C. Well, let's add on D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So Jonathan Sarbeck was the chair of the planning board who added on all those letters. Now he's on the town council. Last night he has a tirade about people who send this issue out to referendum, and all of a sudden the town council blaming the people of the town for not allowing this development, when actually the only thing that's stopping the development is the town council. So I think hopefully now what's coming around is that the town council might do what it should have done all along, and that is just pass the zoning amendments that were required by the developer of Center Court. Just do that narrow amendment and see what happens. And so that's what I think is going to happen. And in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of accusations. There's a lot of back and forth. Nobody's lying about what's on the petition. This isn't a conspiracy theory. I don't think there's any crooked people behind the scenes, operating levers of government that are oppressing our voices. I think we just, as a community, have to get through this. But really what has to happen is the leaders who are elected by the town just need to, have a little gumption. Put a little Donald Trump into it. Donald Trump enters the White House and suddenly there's the shock and awe campaign and people can't believe that all this shit is going down. But you know what? He's exercising power while he has it. And I'm not saying that the town council of Cape Elizabeth should at all be anything like Donald Trump. I'm just saying that have a little gumption. You pass the amendments that were requested by the developer and take it from there. Until next time, this is Cynthia Dell signing off. Take care.